I wish I could have said yes, but no, I didn't pay that much attention. At that party, she had a lot of people over, but I didn't recognize any of them. But I mean, doesn't say they weren't famous people, just that I didn't know of them, and I didn't pay that much attention to them because I was occupied doing my best. So, but she had people over. She had like this Norwegian guy who said he knew like a famous Swedish actor, but I have no clue who he was. But like powerful people too. She did not hang out with just anyone. That's for sure. It was a complete surprise, but I still have to go back and think what I saw, what I heard. And I think she must have been really good at hiding stuff, because she had a cleaning lady there. So it was always clean. I mean, I barely like walked into her rooms, but I remember in her office, she had like a hand grenade sitting on her table. I thought that was weird. I mean, I was like, who has that? So I remember that. But and I remember when she had her boyfriend over, her room was really messy. Like there was stuff thrown everywhere. So, but other than that, nothing that like tipped me off. I mean, she must have been good at hiding stuff, because that is what she does. So even though I lived with her, I did not suspect anything. So it was a complete surprise. It was. I think, well, first of all, I think I was young. I was self-centered, everything. I think I was thinking, oh, what an opportunity I have got, and I have to like obey, and I have to do the best of this. I wouldn't go investigating, looking for stuff. So that was one part of it. The other one was like, she actually told me like in the beginning, and I had so much respect for her. So I would just listen. And I mean, I lived, one part of my life was me like working there. A bigger part of my life was just living there, like doing stuff. So I was occupied in living my life. And I think that's the answer. But if I could go back with this knowledge, I mean, of course I would see with different pair of like eyes.
So would you say that, like, what was your feeling about her as a person while you were there? Did you like her? Did you think she was funny? Did you think she was cool? Or was it just the powerful woman persona was the main thing that you got from her?
Yeah, definitely. Especially when we spoke, I thought she was very like, she said exactly what she wanted to, and not that many laughs. And I mean, I was scared of her, and she acted out in that way too. He used this like powerful, evil, like scary lady. She was like playing that part too, and she was probably someone else when she was in private with like her friends. But in front of me, she came off as a scary lady. I mean, that softened a bit in the end. Like we were at the party playing pool. It was more of a relaxed situation, but I was still on edge. Like I have to perform. I have to be like up to her standard. So I couldn't relax at all. But then I guess we're just talking about like random stuff, and I think she always treated me like she was my boss, and she treated me that way. So not funny. I guess she was funny at all.
But she did laugh when you gave her a zinger and told her that no one would like her on Tinder.
Yeah, exactly. That was kind of the only time. And
that was a bold move. Why would you say that to her?
I don't know. Like I got a feeling. I went with it. It worked.
So, back to the first night I met Rasmus. He came into the bar where I worked, a ping pong club called Spin on 23rd Street. He opened a tab with a credit card that had no name, bearing only the initials GM.
she probably had a lot of cards, but that was like the card I was given to like buy food or like stuff she told me to buy. It could be like scented candles in a really expensive store on Upper East Side. So I always had that card. And like you said, yeah, it was her initials. And
did you find that strange?
No, I probably should have, but no. I mean, nothing I think came as a surprise. I was just, this is how rich people live. This is what they do. And I just swallowed it whole. Because remember, I it wasn't my first time in America, but it was my first time like in New York, and first time being with working for a rich person. I thought, well, this is just how rich people act. If they can have a card with just their initials, sure. I mean, why not? I wasn't very investigative, but I don't know that much. But no, that there's not like a easy answer to that one. Why would she have that? Well, she had something to hide. She don't want to. Well, I remember because, like I said in the beginning, they told me like you cannot tell anyone that you're working for her. So obviously she knew she was very famous and didn't want to be seen that much. So the card was maybe just a part of not being out there.
So that reminds me, she was involved, I believe, in this lawsuit with Virginia Giuffre at the time when you were there. And I think you told me that she had instructed you not to speak to the press if the press were outside of the house.
Yeah, one day, exactly. She told me, or the assistant, can't remember, but they said there might be press outside if they ask you anything, like you don't know anything. And they said it like casual, like it happens from time to time. And that I bought because, I mean, she's famous and maybe the press there. So I did not ask any questions. And if I would have, I don't know how many, like what kind of answer I would have gotten, but I was instructed not to talk to the press.
So again, no Googling at that time, no Googling from you.
I feel so stupid. I mean, I should have, but I mean, that was me at 24. I was immature and I was just not thinking.
I understand. I mean, I really do, because of course I was in my 20s. I was essentially the same age as you when I was in New York, doing whatever I was doing. And of course I didn't ask a lot of questions either. I would go with the flow. Maybe that's, again, anything's possible when you're, out living it up in Manhattan.
That's the feeling.
So why did Rasmus even reach out to me when he saw Ghislaine on the news in 2019 to let me know who it was he worked for? How do I know without a doubt that Rasmus was really there at Ghislaine's house? Well, I know because he took me there. He took me to the Townhouse at 116 East 65th Street between Park and Lexington Avenues on the night we met in 2015.
To my defense, I was drunk and it was my last night there. That was my excuse. I knew I was pushing boundaries like to the max, but I have gotten used to like pushing the limits for quite a while there. Like I was like getting like kicks or highs, like, and that this was the next step. I knew nobody was there. So
okay, so you and I were gonna go like have a drink. I lived in a horrible apartment, so I was like, there's no way in hell no one can come to this place. It's so bad. So you took it upon yourself to, invite me to come over to this place. And it actually, as it happened, was not that far from where my horrible apartment was. My horrible apartment was on East 60th Street. And I believe this place was, I think, 65th or 6th.
Yes, 65th.
Okay, so again, this is not something I see every day either. I had been in large apartments, large residences in Manhattan. I had a friend, who had grown up on the Upper East Side, and I'd been to his parents' place, which was huge. I'd seen huge apartments, but I never had seen a place like this in New York. I mean, it was like a 5 or 6 story townhouse. You don't see that every day. So it was unusual to me as well. But looking back on this, it's a little scary to think because like you said, you felt like you could get away with, having a guest over that night because you were leaving anyway the next day. And she was not there. She was out of town. But knowing now what we know about her, what she was involved in, her reaction to even a delivery guy coming in the door, what could have happened to me or you if she had come in and seen that you had brought somebody there, and especially someone you didn't even know, someone who was a bartender at the bar where you were having drinks. I mean, what would she have said? What might have happened?
It's a scary thought. It is. I mean, I don't want to think that thought, but it didn't end up that way. But I mean, she's capable of doing some sick things. So.
And you did not invite me to the basement. You invited me in, and we went to, like the nicest area of the house, like to go check out the balcony and go just like, looking around at this beautiful place. In fact, I didn't even know that you lived in the basement until the other day, and you told me that.
That was
no
news.
idea.
I guess I wanted to like play it off as, look, even I got that it was a spectacular thing, a spectacular townhouse. So of course I wanted to show like the best parts. It felt right at the moment, so that's what I did. I think that this whole thing with having Swedish young men over must have been the start of something bigger, like bait, or I don't know what she had in, like what kind of plans she had. But if I would to have gone back, we had a better relationship and probably something to work at. I don't know what she could have asked me to do, but I guess I would. Well,
and you felt like there was an incremental, maybe like tests, if you will, of like responsibility for you, and they had been increasing.
They were increasing. Like I'm sure there would be a next step, and how far would it go? I mean, she obviously is a master of manipulation and has done some horrible things, so I wouldn't be surprised of anything.
But she's been accused of, grooming and recruiting young women to have sex with Jeffrey Epstein. She's been accused of participating in some orgy activity with Epstein and other young girls. Yeah. She's been accused of giving sexual massages to like girls as young as 14. How did that make you feel when you found out that you had been in such close contact and living with this person?
Well, it's unreal. It is. It's totally unreal. I mean, it's hard for me to even imagine, even though there's a paper and people saying that she has done those things, and I believe them. But it is to be being close proximity to a person who has done those things. It is just hard to imagine. And the thing is, I'm not surprised. It sounds weird, but I'm not surprised that she has done those things, because she gave off that energy. Like with power, you can like do anything. So, but it feels. Like I said, I had to reevaluate my whole time there, but it's still, it's unreal that I've even been there, that I met her, talked to her, lived with her. It's hard to explain.
So you haven't heard from anyone, of course, since when? When was the last time you heard from anyone connected to her?
Maybe 2-3 years ago, I remember having Dana on Instagram, and we spoke not that much, but we did. And now her Instagram handle is gone. So that was the last time, maybe 2-3 years ago. I haven't seen any news or anything about this whole thing with Swedish young men staying with her. So what's going to happen? How will she react? Why should I care? But that was still, this is probably news to a lot of people, except the people I've told. But this is, I'm just interested that more people doesn't know about this.
Thanks for tuning into this very special episode of Diaries of a Pretender. Thank you to Rasmus for trusting me to be the first to tell this story. And head over to patreon.com/Raeden to access exclusive bonus content from this episode and hear Rasmus's story of the Marvel movie premiere after party Ghislaine took him to. If you have information about other Swedish young men hired by Ghislaine Maxwell, email me at podcast@raeden.me. I'd love to hear from you. Music featured in this episode is by Joshua Specht, Sam Barsh, Falls, and Wastelander. And this podcast is written, produced, edited, and hosted by me, Raeden Greer. See you next time.